right, good morning and welcome. Eid Mubarak to all Muslim brothers and sisters. I welcome you on a corporate governance platform brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoboriwo, and today we want to look at roles of the executive directors as managers of corporate business. Our guest this morning is Chief ADEWALE ADENIJI, ACIS. His Honorary Secretary, Lagos State Chapter ICSAN. Good morning, Chief ADENIJI.
Good morning, Funmi. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good to have you join us on the program this morning.
Happy to be here again. Thank you.
All right. With me in the studio is Mr. Kayode Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Funmi. Good morning to you, our guest, Chief ADEWALE ADENIJI, ACIS, and to all our listeners. Special greeting to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Happy Eid al-Fitr.
All right. We're going to take this message and we'll be right back.
The world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitute the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-ranking governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, ICSAN, definitely the hub of governance professionals. As I said earlier, we're looking at the roles of the executive directors as managers of corporate business. All right, Chief ADENIJI, who are the executive directors? Let's start like that.
All right, thank you, Funmi. Directors, executive directors are directors who of the company in the day-to-day running of a company. They have specific roles assigned to them according to their unique competencies. So they are those directors in conjunction with the MD that run the company on a day-to-day basis.
All right, so let's try to distinguish between the executive directors and the non-executive directors.
Okay, fine. So the main distinguishing feature between the executive directors and the non-executive directors is the day-to-day running of the company. The NEDs have all the other roles of a director that I'm sure we'll discuss today without being there on a day-to-day basis. A non-executive director comes and attends board meetings, board committee meetings, but do not report on a day-to-day basis to run the company, which is what the executive director does.
All right. So would you say that the executive directors have the same rights, duties, and liabilities like their non-executive counterparts under the law?
Yes, absolutely. Sections 305, 308, and 309 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 does not distinguish one from the other in terms of their duties, in terms of their responsibilities and liabilities. For example, all directors, whether executive or non-executive director, have a duty of care and skill to the company. This is what Section 308 provides for. All directors, whether executive or non-executive, have fiduciary responsibility to the company. This is what Section 305 provides for. And all directors, whether executive or non-executive, have a duty as trustees of the company's assets and as agents of the company. This is what Section 309 of CAMA provides for. So they have the same rights, duties, and liabilities, EDs and non-EDs, with the exception of day-to-day administration for a non-executive director.
All right, great. Now, the code provides that executive directors should have a broad understanding of the company's business, in addition to possessing such other qualifications as may be needed for their specific assignments or responsibilities. What importance would you say this is?
Right. Executive directors are recruited and employed based on their core competencies. Usually, they know everything about what they are employed to do. For example, if you are an executive director in charge of finance, you're expected to be an expert in finance. However, if executive directors do not have a broad understanding of the company's business, they may have tunnel vision, thinking that their own duty is only limited to their core competence. However, the corporate health of a company depends on all the directors, the managers of the business, having the ability to think outside the box. So if you know what the business of the company is all about, apart from your core competence, then you can think and act outside the box.
All right, great. Why do you think the code allows executive directors to take appointment as non-executive directors in other companies when it's not detrimental to their responsibilities?
Okay, so the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 in Principle 2.8 allows for directors in a company, executive directors specifically, to be able to take up appointments in other companies, provided it will not interfere with their ability to discharge their responsibilities. Now, the best way to explain this for me is to imagine most people, when they become executive directors, will have acquired a lot of core competencies and the ability to be able to survive in a corporate environment. Now, that knowledge, that core competence will be lost if they are not allowed to share that experience, that core competence with other corporate organizations in a non-executive director role. So the policy angle is that the experience they have, the knowledge they have, should be able to help other corporate organizations, provided two things. It will not interfere with their business in where they are executive directors, and there is a board policy in place that allows them to do so. Now, what that board policy will have done is to ensure that, one, there will be no conflict of interest. Two, it will not take their focus away from their core ability to work in the organization where they're executive directors, and so many other things. So the policy behind it is so that their cognate experience will be available to grow other businesses.
Okay, great. And what is the rationale behind the provision of the code that an executive director should not be a member of the committees responsible for remuneration, audit, or nomination and governance?
Thank you. Very good question. Principle 5.5 of the code provides specifically for this. And I will explain the rationale behind it by using a legal maxim, nemo judex in causa sua. What that means is that you cannot be a judge in your own cause. And I want to illustrate it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you are an executive director and you are a member of the governance and nominations committee of your company. And the company is conducting interviews, vetting to elevate you from the position of an executive director to the position of a managing director. Now, being a member of such a committee, a board committee, will give you unusual advantage over any other prospect that the committee might be vetting. So you should not be a judge in your own cause. Is the reason why principle 2.8, 5.5, beg your pardon, says that you cannot be a member of the remuneration, audit, or nomination and governance committee.
Okay. All right. Moving on from there, I'm trying to see if we can take a couple of more questions before we'll let you go this morning. What advice do you have for corporate entities on the issue of roles and responsibility of executive directors?
Okay. Quickly, I have the following piece of advice. First is to recruit dispassionately with specific KPIs, key performance indicators. Ensure strict compliance with those KPIs. Otherwise, such an executive director should be let go. Number two, the company must ensure constant retraining and retooling of executive directors. Now, this is cost heavy from my experience. This is cost heavy, but ultimately, it will fatten the bottom line when you have executive directors that are not only on top of their game, but are also on top of industry matters. Now, number three, companies should ensure strict adherence to corporate governance principles and ethos, like the one we had discussed this morning. An executive director must be dedicated to a company that has employed him. Other business interests or seats on other boards should not interfere with that role, because its primary responsibility is to grow that business. And finally, corporate entities must make it a priority to have a bench for each executive director role. What I mean by that is this. For example, an executive director can leave the post suddenly without notice, maybe on account of illness, on account of any other thing. A good organization will have a bench of likely successors already in place. So succession must be prioritized by companies, even for the role of an executive director. Thank you, Finn.
All right. I must say a very big thank you to you, Chief ADEWALE ADENIJI ACIS, Honorary Secretary, Lagos State Chapter ICSAN. Thank you for joining us on Corporate Governance Platform this morning.
Thank you so much, Simon. It was good to be here. Thank you.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the holiday.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Ketefe, we have an announcement.
Yes. The announcement we have for our listeners this morning is on an annual program of the Institute called The Conversation.
Okay.
That is coming up on Thursday, April 25th, 2024. The Conversation is an advocacy program of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, that focuses on discussion on good governance and contemporary national issues. The theme for this year's edition of the conversation is leveraging technology for budget management, oversight, and enhanced corporate governance. The theme, once again, is leveraging technology for budget management, oversight, and enhanced corporate governance. The program will be held by virtual method, which means people can participate from wherever they are in the globe. And the program commences at 11 a.m. promptly on the set day, Thursday, April 25th, 2024. The chief host is the President and Chairman of the Governing Council of ICSAN, Mrs. Funmi Ekundayo, FCIS, while the host is the Chairman of the Institute's Publicity and Advocacy Committee, Mrs. Nkechi Onyeso, FCIS. These two seasoned speakers and experienced specialists in the area of governance have been lined up as the faculty for this event. They are the founder and chief consultant of B. Adedipe Associate Limited, BAA Consult, Dr. Abiodun Adedipe. The second speaker is the executive director, Technical Skill Future Professionals, Ms. Sabolaji Osho, ACIS. Participation in this program is free. For more information on the ICSAN 2024 conversation, please call Julie on 080-346-89366. Call Julie on 080-346-89366. Thank you for listening, and once again, happy Eid al-Fitr.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kadi Ketefe, CIS Head of Research, ICSAN. And that's how we wrap it up this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. We're back again next week, Wednesday, and a fresh edition of the program at 10:15 a.m. I'm Funmi Omoburi. Enjoy the rest of the holiday. Eid Mubarak once again.